actual email in the funnel now. So, and this will actually help you also with content in general on whatever social media you're going to be using. What we need to consider is what system we're going to use to deliver. The most popular choices are MailChimp, Aweber, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft. Most people will opt with either MailChimp or Aweber. MailChimp, there are some free services as well. With Aweber, once you grow, you may well get to a size where you start to use Pro Tools so that you can create extra lists, tags and things that mean that they don't get information on products they've already bought. But initially, we've only just purchased Pro Tools and we've been going, what, 3 to 4 years. So initially we just used Aweber. Once we've decided the system we're going to use and they've opted in, what's next? The first thing most people create is something called an autoresponder. And this is normally a series of 5 to 7 emails that will go out automatically to anyone who's opted into your list. Now, with your autoresponder, one of the primary things to remember is your first email is the most opened. I mean, you probably achieve a 70% open rate, roughly, industry standards. So this is your opportunity, your first email, not just to deliver the opt-in, which is why it's the most opened, but to create a very carefully crafted first email, that really does bring a story or an action together and even sets expectations of what they're going to receive over the next few emails, depending on which way you go. There are two types of autoresponder. You've either got the straight to a conversation, or ones that are designed so that you actually don't have contact and that everything is very much they will buy straight from email. Straight to a conversation actually tend to work slightly better because then you are engaging with the list. So you are asking just very direct, short questions, like if it was this abs fast, get abs fast, you might ask a question like, why do you want abs? Of those questions is the person will reply and get into an email conversation with you, which you can then take to the phone or Skype, and then obviously lead that to a sale. However, you may decide that you prefer to do don't get into a conversation, that they're going to buy everything straight from email, in which case you might want the more crafted type of autoresponder. So your first autoresponder, when they open, will actually set these expectations of what they're going to learn over the next 5 to 7 emails. So we're using very, very much copy language here, like learn the one secret, why most people fail, and you're actually telling them that they're going to learn this within these emails. So of course then the emails that follow that up have to actually deliver on the promises that you make in that first email. Look at this, I'm already running out of room. So we've decided within the first email that we're going to tell them everything they're going to learn in the next set of emails. How do we deliver that learning? Generally we would use storytelling. And that storytelling, I will give a one example, but it can be based around films, culture, the sort of things that your niche relate to. But an example would be, well, and you can try this actually yourselves, how would the story of the three little pigs be converted to an email that sells your product? So how do we want the structure of those first 5 to 7 emails to look like to keep people engaged, to keep their attention? Well, I've run out of room, so I'm going to quickly do that. So hopefully you got some of that down, or watch it on replay. Right, so we need obviously a attention grabbing headline. JJ Abraham has a system of top 100 headlines. Not every single one will be applicable to you, but it really is a copy and paste job. And those have been tested over years, so they're worth using. Then you want your intro, which is going to be short, obviously. Bullet points, explanation of why it's applicable to them, call to action. Call to action being to buy your program. Now, often the calls to actions are put in the PS, because when people scan the emails, they don't read them properly because they receive on average 147 emails daily. They're going to drop down to that PS, because we always know that PSs are something we tend to read for some reason. So what you're not going to try and do is perfect English, perfect sentences, perfect paragraphs. Having said that, I would always say avoid typos and spelling mistakes. It depends on your audience, but to be honest with you, if they are of a certain educational standard, this will drive them completely bananas, and you will lose that sale, because they'll just think, well, if the person can't be bothered to craft the email and spell correctly, then why should I trust my money to them? It may sound shallow, but people make very early judgments. What do you do if people don't buy within the first 5 to 7 days, which is the likelihood? Let's be honest, how often do you buy from an email within the first 5 to 7 days? Well, then you move them from the autoresponder onto a list, which you are just going to email daily, which might sound like a real task, but if you're doing online business, the best return is always going to be on daily email. It's the most effective way to convert. It averages at 4%, which doesn't seem like a lot, which is why people always talk about big email lists. But that's so much higher than adverts and stuff like that, because that's really cold traffic. And cold traffic, how many people buy a service from an advert from a brand they haven't heard of? Oh my God, how am I going to write 7 days worth of emails week in, week out? Well, one way to do it is to have a topic list. It also helps your audience know what's coming on each day. The simplest and easiest way to build a topic list is to actually look at your days of the week and give them titles. We might have Monday Minute, Motivation, that type of thing. We might have a Tuesday Tip or a trivia fact. It depends on our audience as to what they like. Day could be something like a follow day, where you highlight other people that it's worth them following. This also helps build your influencer network, because if they find out you're sharing their stuff, they're going to more likely share yours. Could be like a Friday fun day, because most people, Friday is the beginning of the weekend. Saturday selfie, could be shopping, bargains that you've seen. You could even include affiliate links in that if it's something you're affiliated to. Sunday, again, you could do something like a selfie. Obviously not do it both days running, choose which day, or a fun day. And that then gives you a basic timetable of what you're going to do. But do you have to create all the content? Well, no, you don't, because one way you can do it is to share other stuff. Now, I'm not saying copy and paste their email. I'm saying if you've seen a YouTube video, you've seen a great quote, you've read something that you think's like hugely important, but you attribute it to the right person. So you might share some awesome information. Now, some of the work throughout the week has to be your own, because you are trying to establish with this audience that you're an expert, that you're someone that they can relate to, that you really understand them, so that they will want to buy from you. You're trying to build this trust level with them. Now, one way to destroy trust is not to regularly email, because if you become inconsistent, what it says to them is, well, if you're inconsistent with talking to them, you're going to be inconsistent in your service delivery. As you can see from this sort of weekly timetable of activities, you could actually use that also to help you plan content for any social media pages you're on. So I'm not saying share your email with your social media page. I would actually say that's a no-no, because otherwise why would they join your list? They can just see it on Facebook or Instagram. So you want to keep that when they go on your list, they're getting exclusive information, but you can still have these kinds of titles going across your social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, whatever it might be that you're using. What else can you add into your emails? Well, you'll have seen people do this, because you yourself will have received emails from people. So you might do calling out. If they don't start to take action, calling them out, saying they're never going to take action, that type of thing. You might ask them questions occasionally to build this interaction that we talked about at the Ask Questions system. You might ask them to unsubscribe. You don't need a list that's unreactive, doesn't open anything. That, having a large email list at that point, is a vanity project rather than one that is designed to sell. We don't want that. So we want to keep our email list nice and interactive. You could even have like deadlines, like 6 weeks. If you're using a Pro Tools system, you can tag it that they're moved off the list or you unsubscribe them. You could even send them an email saying, I'm about to unsubscribe you because you're not taking action. You can do some hard pitching. You could do obviously the storytelling and the soft pitch occasionally. So you can vary it up. If a deadline is about to expire, you might well be sending 2, 3, 4 emails that day to push people to the fact that the deadline finishes at midnight. And that might be on an early bird offer, an intake, whatever it is that you have a deadline on. Deadlines are incredibly important. That follows the Cialdini principles of influence. There are 6 of them. I suggest you look those up because I'm not going to go through them on an email kind of system video. However, we do need to get people to that opt-in stage, and that brings us back to this traffic. And what we will do next time is look at paid traffic. And the best way to set that up to get the maximum returns for your pounds or dollars.